Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. It's Monday, January 31st, last day of the month for us. Wanted to do an update for you. We're looking at Bitcoin again, as usual. We'll take a look at equities markets. Some very interesting things have happened in the last few days, last week into the close of equities, and then as we start the week here. We're seeing some things, and we're also we have some questions that we're trying to figure out. But let's dig in. Before I get started, please like the video. Please share and subscribe. Please share JEDIOSHI and what we're trying to do. Follow me on Twitter. It's at JEDIOSHI. Send a DM and I can help you get in the Telegram. It's a community of people trying to learn to trade, read charts, and think for ourselves. So here we go. This is the daily Bitcoin chart. We are still underneath this long-term trend line. And we do have an RSI pop above this line here, which is it's a bullish sign. That's a good sign here. We've been following the fractal and we will take a look at that. But the big question we have right now is, do we get a final dip and then do we do that? Or do we just crash down to 30 and finally get a retracement up? Or do we just break this and do something like that and come out? So we'll try to look at some key things. But one thing we are looking at is this downtrend line and the RSI line. We are above that. That's bullish. A lot of times RSI precedes, right? That's what we've seen on a lot of charts is that RSI precedes price. So will RSI break or help us break price line? And will this somehow find its way out? We don't know, but we'll look at a couple things. This is the daily chart. Let's look at the hourly. We had last night on the close of the weekly candle, we got a pop up and then we got a flush. And this was about 1,000-point drop. Yeah, 1,100 points. But since that, I expected this to be the start of the drop and for us to just kind of fade down here to 33 or so and do one of those. But it has not, and it's bounced, and now Bitcoin is green on the day. So we'll see what happens. We're still, kind of in these levels. But in my mind, in my world, it's honestly eyes on equities. Before we get there, let's look at our fractal. This is the 4-month fractal. And we pulled it from the 2018 bear market. This is, again, the daily. This is Coinbase. And we are now just waiting to see if we can cross this line. This is, we break trend. And what we're hoping for and expecting is a retracement rally, right? Bitcoin runs, and alts and maybe we get an alt season. I think alts will do better than Bitcoin, but like I've said in the Telegram, for me, this is trade what you can get time in a bear market, possibly. And for me, I'm looking at an exit on a breakdown here, where alts hopefully will do much better than Bitcoin. I think they will, and I'm gonna be out of the market. That's fine. If I'm out of the market, and the market goes, that's fine. We'll find a place to get back in, or I will. And we'll see. Because if equities blow off, let's just say they do, and this is the futures, the S&P futures chart. If equities blow off here, we'll see what happens, and let's look at this chart a little bit. But if they do blow off, I'm expecting Bitcoin to at least hit a nice retracement in the least. It may keep climbing and make a new all-time high. It very well might do that. Really no one knows, but trading is not predicting the markets, guys. Trading is about probabilities and possibilities, protecting your positions, making entries, riding trends, making money, basically making good decisions and being disciplined to your rules. You guys have seen me do a lot of day trading stuff lately on the low time frame, right? We did a sim Bitcoin short trade yesterday. Took some profit, nothing huge. But and then this morning I went long on equities. And what a great trade. And we'll see how that plays out, right? The signal on this, if you want to look at signals, really was the 1 hour. from Friday, right here. If you want to go back and look at your 1 hour chart of futures, when we broke this trend down, this downtrend it was short time frame. See, we broke up and we broke up here and we got above the 35. That's a long entry. And if what you could do is just hold long from 4,300, and that's 150 ES points right here. Right. So it's how you plan to attack. Or you take 5-minute charts and scalp, 15-minute charts, or maybe on the hour. So those are the things we're working through. We're working through trade management, entries, setups. Not really setups. We have our setup. We're working through entries and trade management, how to manage trades and profit, how to work your stop, etc. Right? So this is a nice break of this downtrend line. Notice, and this is 4 hour ES again, but notice we were chopping sideways at the bottom, off bottom here at 4,200-ish. Sideways, this is about a week. All last week was sideways. Chop, but it was very tradable. Tradable chop. Just a bunch of trends. Up, down, up, down. And we've broken above that range. We've broken above this trend line. We've broken above the range. And we won't look at MAs, but we are popped above this RSI kind of line here. That's bullish. So I would not be surprised to see this kind of meander its way up. But look what we have here. This is a different trend line in the 618. So we'll see if we can break through that. We'll see what this looks like. Is it weak? Kind of breaking down when we get there? Whatever. But so this whole game, in my opinion, is obviously eyes on Bitcoin. It's the king of crypto. But it's tied into the same computer systems that the rest of the market is, right? We've seen it tick by tick by tick. And equities green means Bitcoin's green, or gives it the chance to be green. Equities red means I promise you Bitcoin's going to be red. These two markets track each other. I am fully convinced of that. Correlation's at an all-time high. There's no doubt in my mind that these markets are tracking each other very well. But nice to see this pop on equities. I think we can meander up. Now, whether we come back and retest this ceiling, this resistance turns support, do we need to come back down and retest before we move up? We'll see. But that might be an indicator for what happens on our fractal pattern. And we'll look at that. But before we do, one last thing. Notice this. A break and a kick back to this line before we popped. So we broke out. And again, this is the 4 hour chart. But we broke out, we came back, we touched this line, and now we're moving up again. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that in Bitcoin. But let's look at the fractal. Okay, here we are. 4-month fractal, all the way up. This is from the 2018 bear market. All the way up, all the way back down. Double bottom, bounce, and bounce to a retrace. This is where I would expect alts to get really good, especially off the bottom here. And if we can make some entries here, a lot of ifs, right? If we get this drop, it honestly last night looked like we were going for it. It was right on time. We were dropping. If equities don't come back, if equities go up only, I think the chances that we get this drop here are reduced in my mind. Are they reduced to zero? I mean, they track so well. If equities are going up, I think Bitcoin goes up. So that fresh powder that I have for down here for lows just may never get deployed. And that's fine. We all have to do our thing and manage our portfolios and manage our risk, right? So you got to do what you got to do. So okay, so let's do this. I see 3 pathways. We get a drop. We come up and we follow the fractal. Okay, 1, 2, we drop. It breaks down. We go to 30 and then we come up. It would violate the fractal in a downward sense. 3 is we don't get this final dip here. And we, from here, break out, tap on the top side of that, and then we get a retrace. So given what we're seeing in equities right now at this moment, to me, there's a slightly higher chance that we don't get the dip. But then again, I won't be surprised if we do. Go back to following the fractal, and then we bounce. So it's hard to say with any degree of certainty right now what is most likely. That's just my honest read on everything. We're seeing a nice kick above this RSI downtrend. It's bullish. Equities are bullish. How long will it last? And we've seen time and time again, and I want to show you some MA work, or not work, but I want to show you some MAs overlaying the chart that I want to show you kind of what's happened in this downtrend. So you can get bullish on green days, right? It's pretty easy to get excited when Bitcoin reverses and it gets green. Look at that. Guys, we're 300 points, 400 points up on the day now. We started the day down 1200, I think. So we've had a pretty big range, big bull wick on the daily. And we might just go, I hate to say just up only, guys, but yeah, there's a chance that we climb up here and kind of don't have this final dip. If we follow the fractal, we will. So, let's look at some MAs. Let's go back to this first chart, and I'll just delete everything. We're going to add 3 MAs. First is the EMA 8. That's in green. The second is the MA 20 in red. And the third is the MA 50. That's in blue. Okay. I'm going to draw this trend line back on. What's interesting to me is that we are, well, look, a lot of things, but we're beneath all MAs, right? They haven't started pinching yet. Okay, see this? Here, they started pinching down, and then they start crossing each other on a reversal. It's the opposite on the top. You can use MAs for sort of a signal. I don't, but what I wanted to show you was this 20. It's interesting. When you're below the 20, you tend to stay below the 20 until you can break it. And then when you're above the 20, you tend to stay above the 20. This is in a trend. You break the 20. You're below it. You finally break the 20 again. And you're right above the 20. You can do, I mean, like there's also the 34 and that sort of thing. But, you know, here's the case for a semi-fractal follow with a dip. Here's the case. Come up here, kiss the 20, get rejected. One last time. Right? That would be a double dip. That would be our double dip. So, yeah, 38.4. Kind of back to these levels. Maybe we take one last kick down. You know, short term. But tomorrow is February 1st. And the fractal's running out of time. It's been matching for 4 months. I think we're so close, guys. I really think so. We either drop down, retrace. We don't drop down, retrace. Or we kind of bounce up, retrace. Now, there probably are other scenarios. Drop down to 30, death. Look at that. Bitcoin's up 500 on the day. So it's climbing. So that's interesting. Let's look at, so you saw some, so MAs, one thing I look, you know, it's the 8. On the lower time frame, I look at the 8. Now this is an EMA 8. That's an exponential moving average. The red is a 20 and the blue is 50, and then you have 200. But if I'm trading MAs and crosses and such, then I usually look at my 8 and my 20. See how that's closer? Say this top right here, the 8 crossing down below the 20. You know, when you cross, you have early warning signs that that the trend is reversing. So when you cross, right, early warning signs that the trend is reversing. When you cross, early warning signs the trend is reversing in both directions. MAs are pretty powerful. I don't rely on them a lot, honestly. I mean, I know they're there, and I know, like, for example, on equities, I called out the EMA daily 200, but that's a big one, right? So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Relative strength chart, I think I have it up here. No. Futures. Oh, the dollar. What's also bullish to me, we haven't looked at the dollar a lot. This is the daily chart on the dollar. Equities and now crypto, at least on the daily or the 2-day. We are advancing with a stronger dollar relative to the recent time. Okay, so the dollar has come off this bottom here, and that is 13. So that's about 2 weeks. The dollar has been strengthening for 2 weeks. You had equities range sideways in a bottomish looking area, at least local bottom. now equities are coming off the bottom on it with a stronger dollar. The dollar is not down here in the 94 area, right? The dollar is at 97 right now. So any incremental weakness in the dollar, in my opinion, is more fuel to equities and other assets. So yeah, we'll see. But, like, I don't want to say like things are looking great, but there's definitely signs for optimism. But again, let's go back to this, guys. Every time we come up, it's easy to get optimistic, right? You come up and you kiss an MA. You say, oh, man, it's looking great. And then it doesn't take much for the bears to sell it off. So don't get too comfortable. We're not out of the woods yet. Once we break some trend lines, we are seeing a nice bounce in RSI. We're seeing some signs. But is it going to be just like this? We saw some signs back here, bounce, rejection. Back here, bounce, rejection. Here, we'll ramp, rejection. And then we finally come out. Maybe one last time. So just be ready for that. I know you are. So that's about all I had today. Looks like this is about 16 minutes. Thanks for watching this, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Please like the video. Please comment. Please be a participating member in our Telegram group. We're all trying to learn to read charts, to think like traders, have discipline, put plans together, take action, and be successful in any market. Well, that's it for Monday, guys. Enjoy your Monday, and until next time, we'll see you later.